Darnold over the middle. He's got Smith and Jigba.
The closer we get to the playoffs, the harder it is to do these power rankings. Who gets left off the list and who ends up on my arbitrary top 10 like it's 2007 and we're on MySpace? Find out on HillTimeSports. Let's go! The Philadelphia Eagles went out and gave me some hope on Sunday. They went and they rebounded against the Las Vegas Raiders after losing in a heartbreaker against the Los Angeles Chargers. This time they beat the Raiders 31-0. The defense has really been the key for this team. You had Zach Vaughn, who got an interception, and they held Kenny Pickett to a historically bad statistical game where he threw for only 64 yards. Jalen Hurts went from one of the worst passer ratings all the way to the top passer rating in Week 15, 154.9. A.J. Brown scored a touchdown. Dallas Goedert scored a touchdown, and even Saquon Barkley had a rare sighting and scored a touchdown. Did he have a lot of yards? No. But the team played very well, even though it was the Raiders. This week, they got the Commanders, and I hope they can score some points on this team. The real test, though, comes in Week 17 when they play the Bills. And at number 9, we got the Houston Texans, which dropped 40 points on the Cardinals, and the game wasn't even close. This is another team I think is very good, but I just need them to score points on teams that are not the Cardinals. But this defense, despite allowing 20 points, is the best, and the numbers are a little inflated from this game because the game was already over and, garbage time and such. Nico Collins is having a statistically good year, and it might not be getting the attention it deserves because the Texans aren't some offensive playoff juggernaut. They're a team that's going to beat you by wearing you down and doing just enough on offense to win ball games. We saw it against Kansas City. They have the Raiders this week, which should be a cakewalk for them, but just like everything else in 2025, we never know in the NFL. I actually wanted to put the Bills higher, but since New England does hold the division, I just couldn't see a place where they can go higher than New England, at least for the moment. I am obligated to put them at number 8 based on principle. That doesn't mean Josh Allen and James Cook aren't a fantastic duo. I mean, they had 5 consecutive touchdown drives to start the second half against New England when they were down 24-7. Now, defensively, they did a lot in the second half. First half, they allowed that 24 points. James Cook, in crunch time, scored a big touchdown run to seal the deal against New England. In all honesty, though, I think the only thing that's hurting this team is the lack of a true wide receiver and a consistent defense. We will see if the Bills can take care of business against the Browns and their great defense. The Bears are in an interesting situation. They got the number 1 spot in the NFC North, but they got a grueling schedule. They play the Packers this weekend, then they play the 49ers and end off with the Detroit Lions. But it does help that Caleb Williams had one of his better games. He had 2 touchdowns against a very, very good defense in the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett is 1.5 sacks away from the record, but moving on from that, I love the Bears running game, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson was an underrated pickup during the season. He had an interception against Shedeur Sanders, who had 3 picks against them. And if they can win 2 games out of 3, I think they'll be in a good spot to win the NFC North. They have to beat the Green Bay Packers, though, or else it's going to be very hard for them to win out and make the playoffs. But at number 6, seeing the Patriots collapse the way they did hurt them a lot. This is a team that was up 21-7, but then gave up 5 straight touchdown drives in the second half. Not to mention, May didn't throw a touchdown, he threw an interception. Trevion Henderson, though, joins Lenny Moore and Saquon Barkley with 4 50-yard touchdowns in his rookie season. I think the Patriots have a very good team. I just think they're young, inexperienced, and they're not playing teams with winning record. You saw that with the Bills game. They lost. They don't have the resiliency right now to face that and then face adversity and then win the game. It'll come with time as long as Vrabel is the coach and as long as you got a very good defense and a very good offensive line. I think this team is very good. They're just not there yet, in my opinion. I kind of sketchy on them. They beat down bad teams and, But at number 5, I can no longer diss the Necromancers out of San Francisco. Brock Purdy played one of his better games in the season. 3 touchdowns, 0 pick, and not only that, they are winning without their best defenders in Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. In my opinion, Christian McCaffrey is the MVP of the NFL. Without him last year, they were 6-10 or 6-11. This year, without him, they would have lost their season early on. He's going to have 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. The first time a running back has ever done that twice in the NFL. Running backs have done it once, including McCaffrey. But I think that this team is well coached. I think they're a team that can maybe sneak out a playoff win. My question is all these injuries, how is it going to affect them later in the season, especially on defense? But kudos to the 49ers for being this good for this long. They got a 10-4 record, which is good. And at number 4, their NFC West opponent, their NFC West rival, the Seattle Seahawks, have to be one of the most peculiar franchises in the NFL this year. Darnold is like a broken thermostat. He's either really good some games, he's meh some games, and then he's woof other games. And when he's bad, it is as bad as it gets, but this week he was as bland as toast. Fortunately, the Seahawks were aided by a 44-year-old quarterback who hasn't played football in the last 5 years, and Jason Myers making 6 out of 6 field goals. 18-16 was the final score. I still think this is one of the premier teams in the NFL. It just depends on whether or not Darnold plays like he's on the Jets or whether he plays like he's early Minnesota Vikings Sam Darnold. In the playoffs, though, they cannot do this. The only reason why I think they're a really good team is their defense. Nick Emenwari will win Defensive Rookie of the Year, and the rest of this defense is really good. They play the Rams Thursday night. It's going to be a huge game for them. I'm expecting a good game, Seattle. Don't let me down. The Jacksonville Jaguars are at number 3, and they've been on a stretch of games where they have been dominant. And yes, I am aware they played the Jets, but 6 touchdowns is 6 touchdowns, and we can finally maybe remove the bust label from Trevor Lawrence because he has been on fire. 10 touchdowns to 1 interceptions in the last month. He's been really good. Devin Lloyd helps out this defense that is really good. I mean, he's one of the leading linebackers, if not the leading linebacker in interceptions. And by the way, why couldn't the Raiders use Jacoby Myers the way that the Jaguars are using him? Because he has been really good since the trade deadline. I don't understand, Raiders. You're just not getting it. But Brian Thomas Jr. also remembered that he had hands that can catch and that he's paid to play wide receiver at the NFL level. Unlike me, I'm not expected to catch the ball. I don't know what I'm expected to do, clean toilets, because that's what I do as a job. My problem is I don't ever trust the Jags, and maybe that's just on me and my biases, but they got the Broncos this week in a prove-it game, and if they can beat the Broncos, they have a chance at winning the Super Bowl this year, because anybody can win the Super Bowl this year, in my opinion. At number 2, the Rams, in my mind, are still the best team in the NFC, and without Devontae Adams, Colby Parkinson had himself 2 touchdowns. Stafford is the likely MVP of the NFL because quarterbacks are the hottest thing since sliced bread to these sports voters. And maybe Stafford does deserve to have the MVP. I like Stafford. Stafford's a great quarterback. He might be a Hall of Famer after this season. Nakua had 181 yards last game. And their running game with Corum and Williams has been electric. It's a two-headed monster, much like the Detroit Lions. And they've been really good, but they've been known to play down to bad teams or mediocre teams like the Carolina Panthers, who I still think can win the division. But at number one, and it's been a while that they've been number one, we got the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix played his best game on Sunday, in my opinion. 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. They are definitely a second-half team. Patrick Surtain and Riley Moss both had interceptions, and Green Bay was knocked off from the number one. And although they were missing RJ Harvey through part of the game, I really think this team went out there and put a wet blanket on this red-hot Green Bay Packers team, who lost Micah Parsons in the middle of the football game, or towards the end of the football game, torn ACL. But this is about the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton's aggressiveness. It is a good thing, but I saw at the end of the game, it was a little odd for him going for it on 4th down when you had the lead. You were up by a few points. I think it was like 8 or 9, I can't remember. But you should have punted at least once. But all in all, it was a good thing. I like aggressiveness, unless you're going for it and you're 0 for 5 on 4th down like some teams. But they are your number one team again. What do you think? You like my power rankings? You don't? Let me know in the comments which team should be number one and below. See you later. Like and subscribe. I'm almost to 200 subscribers. I'll see you in the next video. Adios. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.